Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order on Tuesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, at 7:03 p.m. If everybody would please rise, and I'll lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto.
Present.
Trustees Darrenowski's absent. Trustee Dupreece.
Here.
Duberstein here. Barrett. Bailey.
Here.
And Washington.
Here.
Trustee Darrenowski had to work this evening, so that is why he's not present, but we do have a quorum. I'm going to make a slight change to the agenda that I don't think anybody will have a problem with. I'm going to move our permanent police chief, Matt McCutcheon, up before we move on to public comments and let him give his presentation first. I also have a few words I'd like to say about Chief McCutcheon, and we're also going to have some cake to distribute shortly. And then we'll move on with the rest of the meeting. So with that slight change, I ask for approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved. Second.
I think everyone present here, oh sorry, roll call.
Trustees Priest.
Aye.
Duberstein. Barrett. Daly.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
I'm jumping ahead because I have long waited to make this announcement. I'm very excited that Matt McCutcheon indeed was chosen and appointed as the permanent chief of the Grays Lake Police Department. Chief Herzog retired. Matt McCutcheon was made the interim chief in June. The village of Grays Lake went through a search process, which was the equitable and professional thing to do. I'm happy to say that from the beginning, Matt McCutcheon was one of the top candidates. But it was a national search, and they had over 100 applications come in, I think about 120, which was whittled down to about a dozen. And then from there, it was whittled down to just a couple. Mayor Rhett Taylor and the Board of Trustees invited me to participate in the final go-around with the final candidates. And I think if you asked Mayor Taylor, he would tell you that he wished he didn't have to do this over the November and December holidays because it did drag it out a bit longer than everybody would have liked. But I think the outcome, everybody is very pleased and proud with. I have a deep amount of respect for Matt McCutcheon, and I think Grays Lake and the village of Hainesville was very confident and very excited about looking forward to a long relationship with the police department and it being led by Chief Matt McCutcheon. So welcome, Chief. We're glad you're the permanent one.
Thank you, Mayor. Wow. I'm sitting here wondering who you're talking about. Very nice. Thank you for those very kind words and also for your strong support during the process. Thank you.
My pleasure. Now, the other report that we're going to discuss tonight, back in November, we had at our board meeting police report, the annual service report, which went from July, when the police services first started in 2010, through July of 2011. And we discussed that briefly, and we talked about having Chief McCutcheon come at a future meeting. And so I was happy to wait until he was the permanent chief, wanted to make that announcement. And so he's here to talk a little bit about that. And I just want to you to keep in mind when he talks to you that this is from the first year. We've moved on considerably in amount of time since that July. And I think you're going to talk about how you use some of that information to change things and continue to change things, to tweak them.
Right. Thank you, first of all, for having me here and for the opportunity to talk to you about our service in Hainesville. And I do have some comments that I'd like to make about the annual report that you all received. And as we move towards completing our second year of service in this coming July, I think to me, what this report does is it tells a story of a successful partnership and a consolidation of resources with both villages benefiting. One of the things that I think is most important that Grace Lake brings to Hainesville in the policing contract are the enhanced capabilities that come from our full involvement in some of the regional multi-agency policing groups that exist. And you'll see in your, if you have the annual report, and Mayor, I think you posted this on your website?
Yes, the report we're speaking of is indeed posted on the website now. It's been there for a little over a week and will remain there for quite some time. And so you can look at it, you can print out a copy of it.
And so Grace Lake is a full member of the Northern Illinois Regional Crime Lab. We're a full member of the Lake County Major Crash Assistance Team with the accident reconstruction capability. We're a full member of the Lake County Major Crime Task Force. We're a full member of the Northern Illinois Police Alarm System, which is a mutual aid group that includes a mutual aid car plan and also a SWAT team and a mobile field force, which is generally used to control large crowds and civil unrest, and they're going to be on standby for the NATO and G8 summit in Chicago this year. And also we're a full group of the Lake County Metropolitan Enforcement Group, which is the Lake County Drug Unit. And in fact, Grace Lake officers are leaders in most of these organizations. And so our philosophy is that while it's unlikely that we'd have to face a critical incident in Grace Lake or Hainesville, either natural or man-made, we believe in preparedness. And so we're fully prepared with all of this capability, and Hainesville enjoys all of that capability due to this partnership. The next item that I'd probably want to touch on is our community policing efforts. And, Hainesville has a low crime rate. And so what we try to do is reach out to businesses and residents in a variety of ways. And I think one of the sheets in here will include a depiction of our redesigned crime prevention notice. The crimes that we do deal with in Hainesville and Grace Lake are generally property crimes, and they're generally crimes of opportunity. And so what these notices, these courtesy notices they're just hang-ons that we can give a homeowner or business and alert them that we observed a condition that might invite a crime. And hopefully they'll correct that. I think what I'm most pleased about in this report was the results of the citizen survey, and that showed that 90% of the respondents to the survey were pleased with what the Grace Lake Police were doing in Hainesville. And so that to me, I think is the most important piece of this whole report. And I was very glad to see that result. There are some breakdown of the numbers here on page 2 of that survey, but the overall response was a 90% positive. I'm very pleased about that. The other thing that we do in Grace Lake and Hainesville is we deal with a lot of complaints about residential traffic issues. And so we have a 3-phase program that's talked about here. And we believe our approach to neighborhood traffic complaints is fairly effective. It's a 3-phase approach. And the first phase is that we deploy a stealth box. And what that does is it collects car counts and speeds, and it lets us know if the complaints we're getting are exaggerated or if they're bona fide, and then we can direct our resources more efficiently based on those results. And when we find that the complaints are bona fide, we have 3 speed display trailers, which you've probably all seen out in some of the neighborhoods. So we'll put those out for a period, and then we'll follow that up with some radar speed enforcement or other traffic enforcement. And we move those around from neighborhood to neighborhood based on complaints and so on. There's a breakdown of some of those statistics in the report. One of the things that we did in our criminal investigation division was we assigned one detective to handle Hainesville cases. We thought that that would be a good approach because it would give more familiarity to the detective and also your businesses and your residents. And in the period of this report, we had assigned 104 total cases, and we break down the dispositions here for you. I think we started out the first week of the contract with a nice burglary arrest with some juveniles and an adult, and we felt good about starting out the contract with that success. We've done a number of alcohol compliance enforcement checks, and up until last Friday, I was happy to say that all of the Hainesville liquor license establishments had passed those checks. But we did have one violation last Friday, and so Mayor, I'm sure you'll deal with that. We've tried to be very visible and active in the community events, and so there are some examples of those in the report, and it talks about the Hainesville Fest and the Shop with a Cop. We've now had 2 Shop with a Cop events, and those have been very well received and very successful. 4th of July parade, and we helped with the grand opening at Russo Power Equipment. And in fact, they've made another request for a big sale that they've got coming up. And so we'll be visible and present there, helping with traffic also. So really, in summary, I guess the partnership has been beneficial to both villages. We believe we have achieved a seamless integration of Hainesville into our program. We believe that your constituents are happy. And I'd just like to report on a little bit of police department information that's not in this report. And that has to do with some things that are going on in the police department. It's an exciting time. We've got some new leadership opportunities. As you can imagine, with the retirement of Chief Herzog and now with my permanent appointment, we'll be promoting 1 or possibly 2 commanders, and we'll be promoting probably 2 sergeants, and we'll be hiring some new officers to replace those vacated positions. We're looking at rolling out a new data-driven policing program this year that we're excited about, and without getting into too much detail, we think that will benefit Hainesville also, and it will allow us to very effectively focus our resources on problems and issues in ways that our computerized record system will help us focus those resources in ways that we just don't do right now. So, and Mayor, I talked a little bit about that during the process, so we're excited about that.
Yeah, it is. It's going to just add speed to the awareness and reaction to various issues that come up. And nip some things in the bud.
So that's my report. I'd like to open it up for any questions.
And with questions, we're going to allow questions from everyone. I'm going to give the board the opportunity first, and then we'll go out to the public. So is there any questions from any of the board members?
What's the progress report on the CSO that had the accident?
Right. I visited her shortly after she got out of the hospital, and she looked much better. We're not sure yet whether she'll be back to work. And I've been working with the mayor on some signage issues and things along 120. It's not a school zone, and IDOT won't let us.
In fact, Greg Rowan, our engineer, has some updates on that, so we'll be talking about that whole issue a little later on.
But so we don't know. We should be back.
She